Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about my least used luxury items of 2017. Apologies that this video is so late in going up, but I got really ill and I've just been trying to recover from that, but hopefully you'll still enjoy it even though we are quite a bit into January now. If you watch the counterpart to this video, which were my most loved and used luxury items, then you'll know the general theme, which is that I haven't limited myself to only items I bought throughout the year, but this is really me taking a step back and looking at my closet and picking out the items which really didn't work for me or I just didn't get a lot of use out of. So I hope you guys enjoy this and let's get going. So the first item which comes under my least used, and these are very unused indeed because I never actually wore them, and they were my Chanel ballet flats. I got those at the beginning of 2017 and towards the end I ended up selling them because I didn't wear them even a single time, which is terrible, and I always try and avoid selling things which I don't even get use out of one time, but I knew that I probably wasn't going to wear them. I think these were a purchase where I kind of got swept up in the moment and I was excited to be at the Chanel at Heathrow. They do have a discount there and I'd wanted a pair of ballet flats for a really long time and they had them in my size, so I went for them, and I perhaps ignored how I didn't completely love the way they looked to my feet. I didn't necessarily think they were that flattering, and even though I love the look of them on other people, I think maybe that particular style just didn't suit me very well. Every time I tried to wear them at home, I would put them on and then I would always change out of them and wear something else which I thought would cuter with that outfit. So I tried numerous times and I pretty much only got as far as the door and then I just turned around and put something else on. So after a few months of doing that, I realised it probably wasn't going to happen. So I did sell them on, and I think that the person who received them really liked them, which is great, but that was definitely a lesson learned for me. Try not to get swept up in the moment, and I think I'm probably going to stay away from Chanel shoes for the time being. I don't really have my eye on anything else and it's an expensive lesson to learn, so at the moment, no Chanel shoes for me. The next item on my list is my Chloe Drew, and I'm actually quite sad to include this because even looking at it now, I think it is an absolutely beautiful bag, but I made the mistake of getting another bag in a very similar colour combination with the exact same purpose for me, so I really bought this as a going out bag. It is quite small, and I then went ahead and got this one, which is the Saint Laurent clutch, and I just been basically using this all the time instead. I love this clutch so much. It's very carefree. It's a lot more carefree than the Chloe Drew, I'd say, which is a little bit more delicate with the leather and the hardware. This one is really wipe free, you know, you can't really scratch it because of the pebbled leather, and it's just very easygoing, and I do prefer the look of it a little bit more. I didn't realise quite how much I would love this when I got it though, so I really didn't think that this would be made a little bit redundant because of that purchase, but it really has been. So even though I love the look of it objectively, I just haven't been reaching for it. So still a beautiful one, but sadly not a very used one in 2017. Now for another shoe one, and these are my Valentino Rockstars. I've had these a little while now and I did get them on sale, so I got them for a pretty good deal, and I still absolutely love the look of these. I think they're totally gorgeous. I wouldn't change anything about them. I love the pop of pink. I just think it's a very cool looking shoe, but these are really not comfortable, and you know, they are bearable enough to wear out to a cinema or a dinner date or something like that, but these aren't comfortable enough to wear all day out, you know, when you're going shopping or anything like that. And what really kind of put these into focus for me were my other pair of Valentinos. I have them in the kitten heel, and those are so comfortable. I can literally last a whole day in them. And to have a high-heeled version more comfortable than the flat version is quite a feat. I don't even know how they've managed that, but it's true. I can last so many hours in the kitten heel version, whereas these, I have a limit on probably 4 to 5 hours, and even then they're not particularly comfortable. So these haven't got a lot of use because anytime I have wanted that kind of statement shoe look, I've just been reaching for my kitten heels, which did actually make my most used list. So love those ones. These ones I love the look of, but I don't really love wearing them. Again, they're not totally unbearable, but considering that the other ones are so much more comfortable, I would always just pick those. So sadly a beautiful one, but not very comfortable. Next up is another item that I've sold, and it is my Louis Vuitton kimono wallet. This was another item that I bought at Heathrow at the beginning of the year. It wasn't a very successful shopping trip apparently, but I absolutely love that wallet. I thought it was such a beautiful design and I was very excited to have it, but I just didn't love the wear and tear on it. So I do already have the Insight wallet, which is very similar, and the only way that the kimono wallet really differs is because it has that part which is all black leather. I love the look of that. I thought it was so cool looking, but the black leather marked up very easily. every time I took it out I saw a new mark, and even though I could wipe it clean, I didn't love the idea of having to do that all the time. I really love Louis Vuitton SLGs because I do find them so easygoing and carefree. They require no maintenance, and I'm actually quite lazy with my luxury goods. You know, I don't want to have to baby them all the time. I just want to be able to enjoy them, especially something like a wallet, which is supposed to be quite functional, I think. So to have something which I knew I would have to keep clean all the time, I just wasn't loving that idea. So I did try and persevere, but sure enough, I found myself not reaching for it because I didn't want the hassle, I didn't want the worry of marking it more. So in the end, I did decide to let that go. No regrets, even though I do think it's absolutely beautiful, but for me, I'm definitely more of a carefree SLG girl. Next up is my Furla Metropolis, which I also mentioned in the same video as my Chloe Drew. But even though I really like the look of this, I think it's such a cute bag and I love the colour I got it in. I think it is the prettiest shade of blue. I do not find this very comfortable. I find the chain to be very uncomfortable, especially when I fill the bag full. It really does dig into my shoulder, and I thought that maybe it was just me because I hadn't heard that much about this, but a bunch of you did comment saying that you also felt the same thing. A few of you did say though that you hadn't found that to be true, so maybe it does depend on the kind of shoulder you have. I'm not really sure, but I really can't wear this for any length of time without it really beginning to dig in. It is a little bit better if you just wear it, you know, on the shoulder instead of crossbody, but I really wanted to wear this crossbody and it really does hurt. So for that reason, it hasn't really gotten a lot of love. I think I might part ways with this one because honestly, I just don't see myself reaching for it. I have other bags which I find to be much more comfortable. So unfortunately, even though it is a pretty one, it wasn't for me. Next up are my Stuart Weitzman Highland boots in the chestnut colour, and these pain me to include because if you watch my channel regularly, you will know how much I love my Stuart Weitzman boots. I do have a few of them and I think they're among my favourite winter purchases ever. They are seriously great, they're so comfortable and I think they just look amazing. But these were a very unnecessary purchase. I bought them because I love my black ones so much, so I had the black ones in exactly the same style, the Highland with the tie-ups, and I wear those all the time. I saw these on sale and I was like, what a bargain, so I snapped them up, but I've come to realise that things aren't a bargain if you don't get any use out of them. I assumed that because I use my black ones so much, I would use these just as much, and that isn't the case. For some reason, I find the colour quite difficult to match, which I really wouldn't think was a problem because I think brown is quite an easy neutral, but whenever I go to put them on, I almost always change out of them and put my black ones on instead. So my black ones still get a lot of use, but these ones really don't. So these ones were a completely unnecessary purchase. I was very swayed by the discount, but these ones haven't worked out. Again, lesson learned, just because you love something doesn't mean you should buy it in multiples. Sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, and this one hasn't worked out. Next up is my Louis Vuitton Agenda, and this is another one that I sold in my bag and accessory sale, and I got so many questions about why I decided to let it go. I know I did a video on it a couple of years ago and I raved about it then, so I guess people were curious about what changed, and honestly, nothing changed in terms of my love for the item because I think it really is beautiful and I would recommend it if you are looking to buy it. The only thing that changed for me was that I fell in love with something else. So many of you will know that I'm planning my wedding at the moment, and I got an Erin Condren wedding planner to help me with that, and in the process I absolutely fell in love with the style and the layout, so much so that I decided to go for one of their life planners. And I know as soon as I started using this I probably wasn't going to go back to my old way of organising. So I went on for a few more months with this and I realised that my poor LV Agenda was just going to waste. It was quite an expensive item and I just couldn't justify it lying there not doing anything, so I decided to let it go. No regrets selling it just because I have been enjoying this so much, but if you are looking at it I will still recommend, because if you like that whole refillable agenda thing then it is absolutely one to go for. Really beautiful, really functional, but for me it's all about the Erin Condren planner at the moment. Next up is my Gucci Marmont camera bag, and this is one that definitely would not make my list of worst purchases or anything like that because I do think it is a really beautiful bag and I would recommend if you are looking at it. The only reason I decided to sell it is because I essentially got a replacement. So the very first Marmont bag I got was in the black. I actually wanted the nude one but it was impossible to find then, and so got the black, fell in love with it and ended up going for the camera bag in the nude colour. And then shortly after that I found this bag which was the original one that I wanted, and I really couldn't justify keeping two in exactly the same colour and leather and everything like that, so I decided to sell my camera one. I knew when I got this one that I would probably end up selling my camera bag, and I was fine with that because even though I enjoyed my camera bag, the flat bag is much more useful for me. It's much more my style, and it's just a style that I get a lot more use out of than a casual crossbody. So no regrets for me, but again, if you are looking for a camera bag, I don't have anything bad to say about it. I think it's absolutely adorable. I do think it's also probably a little bit more versatile in terms of the look than the Gucci Soho, which I love, but it is a bit more versatile because it has that chain, which makes it a bit dressier, I think. But even so, if I had to pick between the two, it would still be the Marmont flat, which has absolutely got my heart. I love this bag a lot and have gotten a lot of use out of this one. And for my very last pick for this list, I have my Chanel boy bag, but in plural, so I have bags here. I was initially just going to pick my Chanel boy bag in the pink because since buying this, I really have not gotten a lot of use out of it. I love the look of it. I think it is such a stunning bag. Love the hardware, love everything about it, but it is quite a bright shade of pink, and I've discussed this before in other videos, but I am not very good at matching colour. I'm quite a lazy dresser, and I will almost always gravitate towards neutral bags, which this definitely isn't. So whilst I love looking at it, I don't wear it that often. But then when I had to be very, very honest with myself, I counted up the amount of times that I used my Chanel boy bag in the black, which is a very basic neutral obviously, and it wasn't that much more than my pink one. For whatever reason, I just am not reaching for my boy bags very much. I was so excited to get this bag. I'd lusted after it for a very long time. It took me a long time to try and track it down. These are very difficult to find in the exact combination that you want sometimes. So it took me many months to try and find one. When I first got it, I did use it, but since then, it really hasn't gotten a lot of use. Anytime I do want a black bag, I either reach for my Gucci Marmont or I reach for my Chanel Jumbo, which still remains probably my most user-loved bag even after 5 years. When I compare the two, for me there just really isn't a comparison, and I do wonder if the boy bag just isn't quite my style. I hate to say it because honestly I love the look of it so much, but it is maybe just a bit more edgy than I usually dress, and when I'm reaching for a bag I just always seem to go for a very simple classic flap. So I'm still going to try and persevere because I do love it so much, but I think I'm probably going to give myself like 6 months, and then if I don't use it enough, I'm going to have to do something about it because these are way too beautiful and expensive just to be sitting around. So pains me to say, but unfortunately both my boy bags did make my list of least used in 2017. And that is it for this video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it and you found it useful. Please let me know in the comment section below if you have any least used or more regrettable purchases of 2017. I'd love to hear that I'm not the only one that makes these buying mistakes. If you enjoyed the video and like videos like this, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.